And you're live, Mukesh.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today. We are on the 6th of June, mid-year for us. We're going to be heading towards the forum session. We have the demonstration of Odyssey ETL tools by Qiawei. He's from IQVIA. He's going to share about Rabbit, Rabbit in a Hat, and the Usagi tools. So that's going to be the main focus for today. I will hand over the Song to get
Yeah.
us into the section. Thank you, Song.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining. I anticipated low participation. It's lower than I thought, but hopefully we'll have more people joining as we progress through the meeting. So, picking up on our past sessions around getting some ETL tools to be demonstrated in these calls. A common element that we observed in these tools was that they all somehow incorporated the Odyssey ETL tools into their own tools. So, for example, Perseus was a combination of all the ETL tools into one single tool. The HDR carrot mapper was also heavily reliant, or I should say dependent on the White Rabbit scan reports generated. So we thought, the Scientific Forum Committee thought that it would be good to showcase then what exactly the Odyssey ETLs do, because in the previous calls we didn't really review those. We focused on more on the other tools themselves. So in today's call, we'll have Jiawei to demonstrate these ETL tools, and specifically what tools they are is, let me pop up a slide that is commonly seen in the Odyssey community, right? So if you joined any previous ETL tutorials, this is a very, it's a recurring diagram that you will see. So this is a typical ETL process, and there are many tools within the Odyssey community that support this process. But for today's call, we're going to focus on the three tools down here. So White Rabbit, Rabbit in a Hat, and Usagi. And what these tools do is it helps the data experts and CDM experts to sit down together to design the ETL. And for Usagi, it's a tool that is used to create vocabulary mappings. So later downstream, there are some other tools relevant to data quality, which we won't be addressing today. Maybe we'll have one of these sessions in a future scientific forum session. But today we'll focus just on the three tools here, which is focused around the upstream around ETL and vocabulary mappings. So without further ado, I'll hand over the floor to Jiawei. Jiawei, can we see your lovely face and get started with the demonstration? There we
Sorry.
go.
Yeah.
Stop saying sorry. All right, I'll hand over the screen to Jiawei. And Jiawei, can you do a brief introduction of yourself before you start your demonstration?
Yes. So, hello everyone. My name is Jiawei Qian. I come from IQVIA OMOP team. I'm now located in Shanghai, China. My main responsibility is to do the OMOP ETL conversion of the data and do the data quality check of the CDM OMOP table in the team. Yeah. So now, let's start the demo. So here, I will have a brief introduction on the three Odyssey tools. So you will have a memory on that. So, yeah, sorry, let me, screen it. So, as Mukesh and Song mentioned, so in this demo, I will show you three Odyssey tools. The first is the White Rabbit. So, White Rabbit can be downloaded from the GitHub page. So this is the link here. So for us, we need to find the latest release of the White Rabbit on the page and download the White Rabbit zip file. So as you can see in the middle picture, so when we go into the page, we need to find the release tab, and when we open it, and we can also see the latest version here, and we open it and choose the latest one and download the latest zip file. So this is the latest one here. And we need to unzip the download file and double click on the bat file so we can start the White Rabbit. So this is the White Rabbit. So during the demo of the White Rabbit, we will use the sincere data for our source data. So here is the links. So if you are interested, you can later download the sincere raw data and do it again by yourself. So as you can see, when we go into the page, we choose the data and choose the sincere raw folder. We will see all the raw sincere data in CSV format. And not only the CSV file, but also we need to know the data dictionary and the structure of the sincere data. So here gives the link. We can find the data dictionary of the sincere data. So here it tells you the information about tables and detailed information on the respective tables. Then the second tool is the rabbit in hat. We need to know that when we download YRabbit, rabbit in hat tool is automatically inside the YRabbit zip file, so we can just directly open it. Yeah, and so yeah, in the same way, we need to open the rabbit in hat.bat file. It's inside the YRabbit folder, and it can read and display the YRabbit scan report and provides a graphical user interface for the user to connect their source table fields to the CDM table fields and generate ETL specification documents, but it will not generate the code. So as you can see in the right picture, this is the YRabbit and Rabbit in Hat GitHub page, and in the left side, this is the YRabbit interface, and on the right, this is the Rabbit in Hat interface. Then the third file, so the third tool is the Usagi. So as you can see, this is the general Usagi use process. First, we need to download the Usagi. The link is here. Same logic, we need to download the latest version of the Usagi. Then another important thing is that after downloading Usagi, we also need to download the latest version of vocabulary from Asina. So this is the link of Asina, because Usagi used the latest OMOP vocabulary help mapping our source vocabulary to the OMOP vocabulary. Same logic to double click on the jar file to start Usagi and build index. So I will show you these steps later in Usagi demo. And finally, we need to export the mappings into the source to concept map table. Yeah, here, this is the small demo on the how to download vocabulary from Asina. So here is the link here. When we go in there, we need to click the download button, and it will shows you all the vocabularies in the Asina. So when we choose the vocabulary we needed, then we just click download vocabularies button. Then we just wait for a while, and later the Asina will send you an email, tells you that the vocabulary is downloaded. You can find and download it. So on the right picture, as you can see, when I download the zip file from Asina web page, this is the file I unzipped. So as you can see here, but we need to mention that if we download the CPT4 vocabulary, we don't have the license. So we need to get a license from CPT4 so that we can incorporate the CPT4 vocabulary into our concept table. We need to do one more step. And for the Usagi demo, I will use the Thailand TMT codes. So this is the download link. So if you are interested, you can go and download the latest. As you can see here, this is the latest TMT code link. You need to find the latest one. And if you mention that, you need to sign up in the web page and download it. Yeah,
So before Jiawei now does his live demonstration, I just wanted to add that why did we choose TMT codes? It's just because we the latest the newest collaborators in the APAC community are actually from Thailand. We actually had a event with them last month. Not last month now, 2 months ago, for those who've been following us in the previous community calls. So we thought it would be good to actually use some Thailand codes which we could publicly find. If there's any Thailand folks in the call, it would be great to get more input around the demonstrations later in which Jiawei will show. But for now, just context that why did we choose TMT? We chose it because or the newest folks joining the APAC community are actually from Thailand. Yeah, thanks, Jiawei, please.
Yes, so yeah. So here, let me first start the YRabbit. So as you can see, I have already installed and downloaded YRabbit. So I just click into it and to the, yeah, open the YRabbit.bat file. So as you can see, this is the interface of YRabbit. So on the location tab, firstly, we need to choose the working folder. So the function or the goal of the working folder is that after we generate our scan report, the scan report will be exported to this working folder. So we need to choose the folder firstly. So for me, I will choose to, export to this folder. So I just select this folder. And then we need to select the source data. So in YRabbit, there are three ways to import our source data. One is the delimited text files. Second is SAS file, and the third is to directly connect to our database. So generally, we may have one CSV file in comma delimited format. But now in this demo, I will choose to connect to my database. So I have installed my PostgreSQL database in my computer. So I will just connect to it. And I have already imported the Sincere data CSV file into my database. So I just connect to it. So my schema name is Sincere. So I need to click test connection to test if it is okay. So as you can see, I can successfully connect to the Sincere data. So now I go to the scan tab. In the scan tab, firstly, we need to choose which tables to scan. So you see you have two ways. First, you can just click on the add tab. So you will see all the tables inside. You can choose which tables you want. But for me, I will just add all in. So when I click the first tab, it will directly add all the tables into it. So here are some parameters for us to set. Yes, we need to check the scan field values. It's a default. Then we need to set the min cell count. So for min cell count parameter, I will set to 1. This means if one value appears once in the table, it will be shown in our final scan report. If we choose 5, so this means if the value appears less than 5 times, it will not appear in our scan report. So I want to see all the data. So I just set that to 1. And for the max distinct values, I will choose the biggest. So I want to see all the distinct values in my source data. And for rows per table, it means how many rows I want to scan in my source table. I know the maximum rows would not be more than 500,000 for my source data, so I will choose this parameter. So in the new YRabbit tool, there is a parameter called numeric statistics. When we check it, then it will generate numeric statistical information on the numeric value. So I will just check it. So you will see it in the scan report. Then all finished, I just click on the scan tables tab. It will do the scan table by table. After a while, I think I will after a while, I think I will see the scan report. Yeah, here you can see it says the scan report is generated in the working folder I assigned. So as you can see, it is here. So I just double click on it. Yeah, yeah, it's here. So as you can see, there are multiple tabs in this Excel file. So they are divided into three main parts: the field overview tab, the table overview tab, and the corresponding source tables tab. So in the field overview tab, you can see all the tables and the fields in each table, the field name, and the data type for each field, and the max length of value in each field, and how many rows in each field. So as you can see, for the first observations table, this number of rows in this table, and how many rows are checked. This is same to the n rows. And the fraction empty parameter means how many rows are empty in this table. So for date field, there are 0 rows empty in the table, and how many unique values, and how many fraction of the unique values. What's the fraction of it? So because I check the numeric static parameter in the YRabbit tool, so as you can see from column K to Q, these data values are generated based on the static information I choose. So it will generate the average, minimal, median, max, and the standard deviation value information for the real, integer, and the date types on these three types. So as you can see, these are all the date, real, and integer information, I think. Yeah, I think the YRabbit regard code as integer, so it also you on it. And also for the second tab, table overview, you will see all the tables information here. So there are 12 tables in the source database, and how many rows inside, and how many rows checked, and how many fields are empty, how many fields inside. So you can have an overview knowledge on the source tables. Then I will show you example on the conditions table. So as you can see in the scan report, we can see all the different fields in this table, condition table. And for each source field, there will be one frequency column besides it. So the frequency means how many times the value appears in the source table. So for example, for in condition table, for this condition code, it appears 1,134 times in this table. So this is the function of the frequency, and all the codes are, and all the, not only codes, all the fields are ordered by the frequency from most to least. So you will have a impression on the data you have, and what's the most occurred data inside it. So this is the scan report on the source tables. So with the help of scan report, not only the ETL developer, but also the data owner will know how their data looks like, and it will help both to better understanding the data and better developing the ETL code and the final OMOP CDM database. Yeah, so this is the scan report. Then, because we have the scan report, then we will go to the second OHDSI tool called rabbit in a hat. Rabbit in a hat will read the scan report we generated by rabbit and to make the ETL documentation. So now let's go to the second. Oh, yes. So as I mentioned, rabbit in a hat also inside the YRabbit folder. So we just click on it. So this is the interface of the rabbit in a hat tool. So firstly, we need to read the scan report generated by YRabbit. So we open scan report. Yeah, here. So I go to the position. I think it is generated here. Yeah, this is scan report. I just open it. So as you can see in the left side source list. So here lists all the source tables I just scanned. And on the right side, here lists all the CDM tables in CDM v 5.4 version. Let me see. And also, if we don't want the v 5.4 version, we can choose any other versions we like. Yeah. But here for demo, I will use the latest CDM version, 5.4. So here, yeah. And as I mentioned previously, here is the data I download. So when we go to the wiki, here shows you the data dictionary of the Cynthia data. So if you can have a look on them, it gives you the description on each table and the fields inside. So here, because I have checked, so here I will just connect 4 tables in demo, but final I will let you see what it looks like. So firstly, I want to connect the patients table. So this is source patients table. I need to connect to the person table here. Yeah. So when we open Rabbit in a hat, we need to firstly connect all the tables we have. Then we go to the firstly map table level, then map the field level. So I will first map all the tables I have. And for the conditions, connect to condition occurrence table. And for the medications I connect to drug exposure table. And because I know observation table contains all the all the vital signs and the lab reports. So I will just connect observation tables to the measurement table. So I have to do it now. So so before we go to the field mapping, when I click on the arrow between patients and the CDM person table, here you can see on the right side, you can input your logic and the comments for the table level mapping. So for me, for example, I will leave a comment like create a person ID, for example, for each, it will create a person ID for each unique person source value. So this is just one example here for demo. So, and you can also set logic. Then I go to double click on the arrow. It will go to the fields information. So on the left side, it shows all the fields for the source table. Right side shows all the CDM tables. So for me, when I just click on the ID field of the source table, so it will show you all the fields on the right side, and it will order by the frequency. But in this source table, all the ID is identical, so the frequency is 1. If we choose this one, so as you can see, the frequency
not identical, right, Jiawei? Unique, right? Not
yeah,
identical.
unique. Yeah, sorry, yeah, unique. Yeah, because it only appears once. So for me, because I have the ID, so I need to firstly connect to the person source value and to the person ID. Yeah, so this is the ID. So for birth date, as when we click on it, we know it has the year, month, day information. So I just click connect to the year of birth, month of birth, and day of birth. And if it has the time information, I can also connect to the birthday time, but I don't have the time. And for death date, we don't need it. For example, for another example for gender, when we click on it, it has male and female information. So I just click it, connect it to the gender source value, gender source concept ID, and the gender concept ID. So this is the simple example for the patient table. You can connect other information like race, ethnicity, and location if you have. I think I have location saved. Yeah. So yeah. So firstly, let me input the logic and the comments into it. So when we click on the ID to person source value arrow, I can put the logic. So for example, put the source ID here. And for commands, I can say ID is unique identifier of the patient. So here, so for the logic and the comments, they will appear in the final ETL specification. I will have another example. So for gender, as we can see, male and female. So for me, in gender source value, I will put the source gender here. And for the comments, for example, M is male. If we know this is female. So here we can input the logic. And also, for example, for the source, for the gender source concept ID or the gender concept ID, if they are OMOP supported vocabulary, so we can input our ETL code or SQL scripts inside the logic so that which will help ETL developer to understand that. We can also input the code, not only the words. Yeah, this is the person table. So I will have another example on the condition one. So for the condition, we have the start. So we connect to condition start date. And for the stop, we connect to the condition end date. And then we have the patient's information. So I just connected to the person ID. And for encounter, it's similar to the visit occurrence. So I just connect to the visit occurrence ID. For the code, it contains the diagnosis code. So I connect it to the condition source value. Okay, condition source value. And also the condition source concept ID and the condition concept ID.
So,
because when we, yeah.
Sorry, Jiawei. Guys, I think it's important to highlight that Jiawei is doing this very fast because he already knows the source data and he already knows the OMOP CDM tables. But typically how this would happen for new organizations that are doing their OMOP conversions for the first time is you will have two people doing this, right? So a data expert of the source data expert who knows very well about each of the tables in the source and what each of the fields are containing what sort of information. So the data dictionary that Jiawei introduced at the beginning of the call is actually a reference to that source data expertise. So what Jiawei did is he studied that in advance, and he also has enough knowledge about the OMOP CDM tables to make these mappings right now. So sometimes this process might not always be straightforward. There may need to be some multiple discussions between the source data expert as well as the OMOP data expert and determine what needs to go to what field and according to what logic. So I just wanted to emphasize that because we're doing this fast in the demo right now doesn't mean this process will be as fast for every single use cases that are happening out there. So yeah, sorry, Jiawei, to cut in. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and I will go on. So when we go to the conditions table spec of the source data, we will know it's an ICD-10 CDM code. So for the condition occurrence table, we can just use the OMOP supported vocabulary ICD-10 CDM code to get our condition concept ID. You can just use the SQL scripts to get it. So also, as you can see, because we have the code here and also the description of the diagnosis code here, so there are two ways. Normally, you may connect the code to the condition source value, but if you also want to have the description of the code inside, you can also connect the description to the condition source value. Then for the condition source value, you need to store the combination of code and description. But in order to get the condition concept ID, you can only use the ICD-10 CDM code to get it. So this is the way we can do. Then if we have mapped all the fields and the tables, then we can generate our ETL document. We can generate into 3 formats, but normally we will generate to the Word document format, which is easier for us to read. So if we finished, we can just, sorry. We can just save and get it. So because I have already do it, so yeah. So this is the one I have done. I will let you see. So because I have connect 4 tables, so firstly, I will see the overview of the table level connections. So when I scroll down, I will see firstly the person table because I have input the logic and the commands for the table level mapping. So it will show you the logic and the commands. And for the detailed field level mapping, this is the mapping I have done. This is the picture, and also it will list all the logic and the commands of field mapping in one table for person table. So as you can see, for the person ID, where is the what is the destination field of CDM, and what is the source field of the source table, and what is the logic and the commands I want to do. So for person ID, it's a system generated unique key for each patient ID, and if it's male, M and F, what I can do, we can set it to this concept ID and to this concept ID for the corresponding source gender. And also, for example, I think I have a SQL inside. Let me show you. So this is condition occurrence table. So for the person ID in the condition occurrence table, because I have the source patient ID, so in order to get a foreign key person ID in person table, I can just left join the person table I have created, and on the person source value in source table and the person source value in person table and the patient field in the in the source patient table, so that I can get a foreign key person ID. For the condition source value, I introduced because I use ICD-10 so I can map to the ICD-10 CM concept ID, use the concept table in database. Then for the condition concept ID, I can just select the concept ID from concept table, left join the conditions table in source database on these conditions, so I can find the concept ID, standard concept ID I want based on the ICD-10 CDM code. So this is the structure of the final ETL specification. So with the ETL specification, it can help ETL developers to understand the logic of how to implement their OMOP CDM. So this is very important. And also, with the help of ETL specification, the data owner, the data analyst can also trace back to see what they have analyzed, and if there are some OMOP CDM data issues, they can find and look where is the issue and errors. They can re-update the ETL specification. Yeah. And another thing to mention is that if you just generate ETL document in Word document, and if you close the rabbit in the head and want to reopen or reload ETL specification, it cannot work. So as a result, you need to firstly save the ETL specification by clicking on Save As or Save to save it. Then open the ETL specification. So you need to open the saved version. So this is the one. You can reopen it. But for the Word version, you cannot open it and show in the tour. So this is one place to mention. Then finally is the Usagi. Yeah. Usagi is the tool to map your source vocabulary to the OMOP supported vocabularies. So I have downloaded the latest version of Usagi, so I can open it by double-clicking on the jar file. Firstly, I need to enter my name. So as you can see, this is the Usagi interface. So because I have downloaded the Thai TMT code, and I just move it to the sample version. So I don't want to load all the vocabulary, it's too huge. So I have it here. So for me, I just import the codes here. So Usagi, this one. So here, it's supposed the CSV or Excel. So let me open it. So as you can see, this is the source vocabulary of the Thai TMT code. So on the bottom left side, I need to specify the corresponding source fields to these target colon. So for the source colon, it needs to store the code of the vocabulary. So this is the code here. And for the source name colon, it's in FSN in English. And one thing to mention is that Usagi only supports English language. So if your source vocabulary is in Japanese, Thailand, or other language, you need to firstly transfer all the description into the English description, then to import into the Usagi. And then the frequency here. Yeah, this is the frequency because this is the source code vocabulary for TMT. So they are all occur once in the file. So for an additional information colon, so you can specify them or not. For me, I will specify them. Yeah, so after that, on the right side for the filters section, because all the vocabulary here is in JAG, so I need to filter by domain in JAG. If you want to map other domain vocabulary, you need to separate them into different CSV files and load them one by one by choosing different domains respectively. And here, as you can see, there is another choice called filter by user selected concept ATC code. This means if for example, for this source code, if I know the target concept ID or if I have assigned a target concept ID, so I will add one colon and type in the target concept ID I assigned. So I will choose the colon to the new created colon name and click on it. So in the final Usagi result, for this code, it will be assigned the predefined concept ID I have defined. Well, it will not go into other fields. So here I will not click on it. So now I just import. It will spend some time. So for me, I have already import it. Oh, sorry. One thing to mention is that before we importing the source codes, there is another important thing is that we need to build the index of the Usagi. So how to build it? So we need to firstly download the vocabulary from a sinner and specify the location of the vocabulary we download. So for me, after I download the vocabulary, I unzip it and open it. So as you can see, this is all the vocabulary files I have here. So yeah, so I just specify this location. Then I just build index, and it will create the index for the Usagi, but it will take hours long time, so it's very time consuming. And for the CPT4, vocabulary, if you want to incorporate into it, then after you download the vocabulary from a sinner, you will receive an email from a sinner. Then it will tell you to go to get the UMLS API key so that you can incorporate your CPT4 codes into the final concept table. So for me, I get the API key by myself. So when I go to the page and I sign in one of these choices here, when I go sign in, and you need to apply for a UMLS key. And I have done this. So when I go to my profile, so I have my API key now. So you can do this under instructions. So this is what I have done. So
sorry, Jiawei. So for those of you who don't know, CPT4, yes, it can be used. It's not a problem of the license of using the vocabulary itself. It's about distributing the vocabulary. So Odyssey doesn't have the license to redistribute the vocabulary. That's why the Odyssey vocabulary team cannot incorporate CPT4 into the concept tables, pre-incorporate the CPT4 vocabularies into the concept tables. So what the workaround here is they provide a executable file where you can use where you need to issue your own license, which Jiawei just showed, and you run that executable file to incorporate CPT4 into the final concept of vocabularies. So just the FYI there. Sorry, Jiawei, over to you again.
yeah, thank you. So, so as you can see, after I have imported my source vocabulary, in the first table, it shows you all the information we have now. So because I have ordered them previously in my CSV files, and now you can see they are randomly shown. So I have one order column, so I just click on it. So it's ordered sequentially. So you can also click on other columns if you want to sequential show them. And also there's another one. If you right click on the table, you can show or not show the fields you want by doing it. So and so here as in for the first source code, this code, as you can see, the recommended standard concept ID from Usagi is this concept ID because it has the highest score, mapping score from sorry. Filter it, maybe some bug. Yeah, here, because it has the highest mapping score suggested by the Usagi. So yeah, I just so for this one, because let me see, let me choose. So I will do one example on how to do that. So for this source code, because because the suggested one is the correct one, so I just approve with approve. So as you can see, it is now the status changed from unchecked to approved. Yeah. Then for the second one, because it is although it is in different DOS dosage and the dose form. So here for the suggested one, it is the correct one I have. So I just click on it and approve. Yeah, as you can see that the status changed. And then when I go to this one, yeah, because it says it's a prolonged release tablet. It's not only tablet. So when I click on it, I will not choose the first one because it's an oral tablet, but I need to find the similar extended release oral tablet. So I choose this one. So as you can see in the source code table, it will be changed to the one I just choose if I replace it. So if I find another one is better, so I need to click replace. Then it is replaced and I click on approve. So as you can see, so if I click on it again, so it will show you the one I approved. Then there is another scenario, because we may find one source drug have the combination of two different ingredients in one drug name. So when I click on it, wait for a moment. So as you can see, it can also show you the combination of the ingredients drug code. So example here, this one is the correct one. So I just approve it. Yeah. So there's another example. Let me see this one. Yeah. In this example, it is also the combination of two different ingredients, but to be honest, we cannot find in a scenario, we cannot find the combination of the ingredients concept. So here, because you can find only one ingredient. So in this circumstance, we can just change to the query tab, and we just type in the ingredient respectively. So as you can see, I can find the ingredient I have. If I type in the dosage, I cannot find the 1000 milligram. So I will use so as you can see, I click on it and I need to replace the existing concept. So for the second ingredient, I also need to add into it. So I just type in. So as you can see, you can find the dosage information. This one. So it depends on the respective site if they want to map to the detail concept or not. So for me, example, I will just map to the ingredient level. So I just choose this one. Yeah. So now for this scenario, I cannot replace concept. I just click on add concept. So this means for this source drug, it will be mapped to two standard concept finally in the source to concept map table. Then I need to, so after I finished, I just click approve. Then when I click it again, so as you can see, we can see the two mapped concept here. So CS, yeah. So finally, the final example is this one. Because I'm medical, I don't have the medical background. I just have the technical background. I don't know this. So when I click, yeah, this one. When I click on it, the results. Let me see the results. Change to the use source term, and the results tell me here. Yeah, and it's because for the P ingredients, because I have no medical background, I cannot find the I ingredient combination with the P ingredient combination. So for me, I may think I cannot find the one I want, but obviously for medical background, people say no, this one should be the target standard concept ID. So for me, so for Usagi, it will also read the synonyms of the concept. So you don't need to worry about it. So for me, if I want to have a check of it, you can also you can also use a sinner for help. So for me, if I want to find the correct standard concept, so I just, for example, choose this one, and I can see the standard concept is the A ingredient here. So for me, I will choose this one because this is the standard concept I want. So I just replace it. So here, and I approve. So I get the final one I want. So it is very helpful if we can also use a sinner to check. And there is another one because we have this in, for example, because we have this standard concept. If you don't want to use a sinner, so you can also click on the concept information button. It will tell you some useful information. For example, what's the parent concepts, children concepts, and the current concept information you can use for help. And what's the synonym? So this is another useful thing. So now, there is another thing I want to mention. For example, if I cannot find an appropriate standard concept, I can. So for this one, I just remove the suggested concept and I approve it. So as you can see, it becomes 0. So in the final source to concept map table, the target concept ID is 0. So this means we cannot find one. So this is the way we do it.
So Jiawei, before you move on, so can you go back to the example where you mapped to 2 different concepts, where the mapping was not 1-to-1? Yeah, that one, right. So here, Jiawei, you chose to map this to the ingredient level, and you mapped it to each of the individual ingredients, right? And you did mention that it's up to the the data owners on how they want to do this, because right now in Athena, there is no 1000 milligram or 1 gram of nicosamide. So you chose to map it to the ingredient. For the other drug there is a 100 milligram, but you chose to just map it to the ingredient level for consistency, right? So I think it's good to re-emphasize that it depends on how you want to do the mappings. The answer, the way you mapped here is just one of the ways you could do this, right? And Xiaowei, so if you create 2 mappings, will the final record in the OMOP CDM table have 2 records of this source code?
Yes, it will have.
Okay. So that means if we choose multiple mappings, so for example, if it's 1 to 2 mappings, it will be 2 records in the final CDM table versus 1 record in the source table. Okay, so that's good to know. Can you go back to the paracetamol example, Jiawei? The acetaminophen one, yeah. So I think what Jiawei was what you were trying to emphasize here is that because Athena, the Odyssey vocabularies also incorporate concept synonyms, Usagi is able to use that information to suggest the best concepts that match the specific synonym. So for example, for those of you who know already, paracetamol, another name for paracetamol is acetaminophen, but you don't need to know this because Usagi is already telling you that paracetamol is acetaminophen from the suggestions that it's making. And what Jiawei showed you in Athena is by searching that manually in Athena, you can also confirm that paracetamol is mapped to acetaminophen according to Odyssey vocabularies as well. So I think it gives 2 ways to confirm. So one by the recommendation of Usagi, and the other way to confirm that is by searching it manually in Athena to confirm that acetaminophen and paracetamol are the same things. So yeah, I think that's great to know. Yeah, sorry to jump in again, Jiawei, please go ahead.
Yes, just the final step. Yes, thank you, Song. So as you can see, all the others are unchecked. So if you want to approve all the others, you can just Control A and oh, sorry, not Control A. Let me see. Yeah, I think you can just approve, click approve. So you will have all the unchecked mappings to approved one so that you can export. So, but for now, I will not do that. So the final step is to export your mapping to source to concept map table. So I just click on it. Oh, yes, it will tell you if you want to export all the approved or unapproved. So for me, I will just export only approved. Vocabulary ID, for example, TMT. So I export to, yeah, here, it's okay. TMT mapping, CSV. So now we can see the TMT mapping vocabulary. So it should be structured in the this one. So it should be structured in the source to concept map table format. Let me open the. So as you can see, like so mentioned, so now we can see for this source code, it is mapped to the two standard concept in ingredient level. Yeah. Then after you have this table generated, it's in CSV file format, so you can import this table data into your CDM source to concept map table so that you will have the vocabulary mapping of your source code to OMOP supported vocabulary. So this is the final step you need to do. So yes, this is the final step. I have done all the demo.
Yeah. So thanks, Jiawei. We are actually 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes left for any questions. It might be a bit short. If there's any questions, please let us know now. If not, we are happy to answer any questions offline. So if you contact myself, Mukesh, or Jiawei directly, if you know Jiawei's contact details, we're happy to address any questions that you may have. Mukesh, over to you if you so that you can close the call if no questions.
Thanks, Jiawei. I think it was very comprehensively done, full demo end to end. And yes, like what Song mentioned, do let us know if you've got more questions around these tools and how we can supporting it. Just one quick question. Maybe Jiawei might be aware, right? Are we in touch with any of the developers behind White Rabbit, Rabbit in the Hat, Usagi, so we can contribute to the development of these tools?
Who are we? Who are we?
Like,
is it Jiawei or the APAC community?
Yeah, like APAC community. Yeah.
Jiawei, are you in contact with any of the developers of Usagi or White Rabbit?
No, but we can have them. We can have their contact information on the White Rabbit, Rabbit in Hat Usagi GitHub page. If we want to have our contributions, we can connect them and do that. Yeah.
Mukesh, I think you're bringing up a topic here because the tools itself have not been updated for a very long time, right? I think almost 1 year now. So, like, if you or any of the people here think we can contribute in some way, I think it would be great, right? I'm guessing you have some ideas, Mukesh. Is that why you're asking?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how can we make it more advanced, right? In terms of new technologies and capabilities. But yeah, we can always have that in another chat. But yeah, we are 12 p.m. now. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And thanks to Jiawei for taking the time through. So, all right. If not, we will come back in 2 weeks' time for the APAC community call again. Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.